beneath the ever-shifting dunes, where the desert stretches endlessly into the horizon, a silence hangs thick in the air, so profound, it seems to breathe with the wind. It is here, in this forgotten expanse, that the city of Ubar, the Atlantis of the Arabian desert, waits. The legend, like the wind itself, whispers of its existence, of its grandeur, of the marble walls that once gleamed in the moonlight, of its gates that opened only for kings and dreamers. But now, all that remains is silence, an echo carried on the sands. The city, it is said, was once a jewel of civilization, bathed in starlight, adorned with treasures beyond imagination. Its people were wise, and its rulers great. But, as all tales of greatness often go, Ubar's downfall was swift, swallowed whole by the very desert that had once protected it. Some say it was a betrayal, a choice made in the depths of greed, that turned the city into dust. Others believe it was the wrath of the gods, punishing the people for their hubris. And still, some claim it was the very earth, unsettled by the sins of men, that opened its mouth to swallow the city whole. In the quiet of the desert, beneath the hot breath of the wind, the memory of Ubar fades like a dream, slipping through the cracks of time. The echoes of a once great city are scattered, half-remembered, as fleeting as the shifting sand, and yet a trace remains. A map, said to reveal the location of Ubar, once passed between ancient kings, each one believing they were the rightful keeper of its secret, has disappeared into the folds of history. Perhaps it was never meant to be found. Perhaps it was lost for a reason, hidden in a place so remote, so inaccessible, that even the most daring of adventurers could not reach it. Still, the legends endure. The map, thought to be nothing more than myth, remains the object of desire for those with the courage to seek it. Perhaps it exists in a forgotten library, a dusty corner of some ruined temple, its edges curled with age, its ink faded by centuries of neglect. Or perhaps it is still being carried by the wind itself, drifting from hand to hand, never staying long enough in one place to be deciphered. As we stand in the desert, the wind stirring the dust around our feet, we are reminded of the fragility of truth. The past, once so vivid, becomes less clear with each passing moment, until only the whispers remain. The map, if it ever truly existed, is but a fragment of a forgotten world, a memory that continues to slip further away, as the desert reclaims the city of Ubar. And yet, despite the years, despite the endless dunes that stretch before us, we find ourselves drawn into the mystery of it all. Perhaps we, too, are seeking something, the forgotten truth of a lost civilization, a glimpse of a world long gone. The sands beneath our feet seem to pull us forward, guiding us deeper into the desert's embrace. The air grows heavier, filled with the scent of dust and distant echoes. Each step we take seems to carry us further into the past, until the line between the present and the forgotten begins to blur. In the distance, the wind stirs the sands in waves, rising and falling like the breath of the earth itself. It is here, in the empty expanse, that the memory of Ubar lingers like a distant star, shining faintly in the dark. The city may have vanished, but its legend remains, woven into the very fabric of the desert, and as the wind whispers, we feel its call, a soft, persistent tug, urging us to listen, to remember. The city's gates, said to be made of the finest marble, are now lost to time, buried beneath layers of sand. But if we listen closely, we can almost hear the faintest echo, as though the wind itself is calling us to them, beckoning us towards something hidden, something waiting to be discovered. The whispers, soft and haunting, carry tales of treasures, gems that glitter like stars, gold that shone with an otherworldly light, scrolls that held the wisdom of the ancients. But what use is treasure when the city itself is lost? What meaning do these objects hold when the people who once cherished them are gone, leaving only their stories behind? And yet, even as the desert continues its slow dance of erasure, there remains the faintest trace of Ubar, like a footprint in the sand. The city's presence is still felt, not in the ruins, not in the treasures, but in the spaces between those quiet moments when the wind shifts, and the air seems to carry with it the weight of forgotten voices. The story of Ubar, it seems, is not a tale of things, but of memory, of the longing for something that can never be fully grasped. As we walk deeper into the desert, the world around us seems to change. The dunes rise higher, their crests catching the last light of the day, casting long shadows that stretch like fingers across the sand. The sky above fades from soft gold to the deep blue of twilight, and the stars begin to twinkle, one by one, as though the heavens themselves are watching, waiting. The city of Ubar, once bright and full of life, now exists only in the spaces between time, a place marked by the stars, by the echoes, by the silence. The wind carries with it the faintest whisper, a name, a place, a feeling, lost to history. Ubar. Perhaps it was never meant to be found. Perhaps it exists only in the stories we tell, in the legends we pass from one generation to the next. Perhaps the city never truly existed, but was instead a dream, a vision conjured by those who wished for something greater, something more eternal. The sands shift, erasing all trace of our passage, as though the desert itself is intent on hiding the past. The city, like a memory, slips further into the distance, growing fainter with each passing moment. What remains is the vast, unbroken silence, the quiet hum of time passing, the soft, rhythmic pulse of the earth. The wind, ever restless, stirs the dust once more, and the question lingers in the air. Was Ubar real, or was it simply a dream, fading in the desert's embrace? Perhaps some mysteries are not meant to be solved, but to be felt, to be carried in the quiet spaces between waking and sleep, between past and present. The city of Ubar may be gone, but its legend remains, whispered by the wind, carried on the breath of time. And as we stand, bathed in the fading light of the stars, we are left with the gentle knowing that some questions are meant to remain unanswered, like the shifting sands, like the forgotten whispers of the past. Some voices only echo when we are ready to listen, and perhaps, in that silence, there is an answer after all. Beyond the rose-colored facade of Petra, where the sun once kissed the stones in warmth, and the wind carried the voices of ancient traders, there lies a place that has been forgotten by time itself. A shadowed doorway carved into the rock, hidden from the world's gaze, keeps its secret well, an entrance sealed for centuries, waiting for those who dare to listen. It is here, in the stillness, that the mysteries of Petra whisper faintly, their breath mingling with the desert air. Petra, the city of rose-red stone, once a thriving center of commerce, culture, and spiritual life, holds more than the stories told in the marketplace or the songs of its people. For within its walls, beneath the grandeur of temples and palaces, there lies something much older, much deeper. It is said that the city was built by a people gifted with knowledge, knowledge that came from beyond their time, perhaps even beyond this world. Ancient inscriptions, intricate symbols carved into the stone, suggest a wisdom that transcends human understanding. But even these, the visible markers of a forgotten past, are but the surface of the truth. Somewhere, beneath the shining stones of Petra, lies a crypt, a chamber that has remained closed to the outside world. Its door, weathered by centuries, holds fast against the touch of time. What lies beyond it? Whispers tell us that the chamber was once the home of sacred scrolls, each scroll a key to the wisdom of an empire, now lost to the winds. Perhaps these scrolls held the secrets of the stars themselves, or perhaps they spoke of ancient rituals and forgotten gods, whose names have long since vanished from the memory of men. But the truth, like the scrolls, is locked away in the cool, shadowed recesses of Petra, where the stone has grown silent, where the echoes of the past are barely a whisper. We find ourselves drawn to this hidden place, the chamber's allure as subtle as the breeze that stirs the desert sands. It is the moonlight that calls us, its pale glow tracing the contours of the rock, illuminating the path ahead. The air is cool now, the heat of the day giving way to the stillness of night. The earth beneath our feet hums with the faintest vibration, as though the very stones of Petra remember something, something they have been waiting to share, something that can only be revealed in the silence of the moonlit night. As we move deeper into the heart of the city, the walls close in around us. The grand facades of Petra, its monumental facades, its carved tombs fade into the shadows, leaving behind only the whisper of footsteps, the creak of ancient stone, the hum of the earth. The very atmosphere seems to slow, as if time itself is taking a breath. In this space, the years no longer matter. The present and the past melt into one, and we are no longer bound by the ticking of a clock. The stones that surround us pulse with the memory of a forgotten people, their hopes and fears, their triumphs and losses, lingering in the spaces between the cracks. And there it is, the entrance. A doorway, half hidden by the earth, its edges worn smooth by the passage of centuries. A small, unassuming threshold, barely noticeable, amidst the grandeur of Petra's other wonders. But there is something about it that calls to us, something in the silence of the rock that tugs at our soul, urging us to move closer. The door is sealed, but not locked, an invitation. Perhaps, for those who are ready to listen, for those whose hearts are open to the mysteries of the past. As we step closer, the air grows heavier, as though the very space around us is holding its breath. The shadows deepen, curling around us like the tendrils of an ancient spell. The stone feels alive, as though it is aware of our presence, aware of the weight of the years we carry with us. The light from the moon spills over the edges of the door, casting long, soft shadows across the stone floor. It is a moment suspended in time. What lies within, we cannot know. The chamber's secrets are hidden, and perhaps they are meant to remain that way. Perhaps the scrolls, if they ever existed, are long gone, carried away by the sands of time, or perhaps they remain within, untouched by human hands. But in this place, at this moment, we are not meant to seek the answers. We are meant only to feel the presence of what was and what might still be. The moon, high above, bathes the city in its pale light, and the chamber before us seems to hum, alive with the resonance of 1,000 unspoken words. Every inch of the stone, every curve of the doorway, seems to carry with it the weight of an age-old story, one that we are not meant to unravel, but only to witness. The silence is profound, broken only by the distant murmur of the desert wind, the soft sound of sand shifting beneath the stars. There is something sacred in this stillness, something ancient, something that has waited, patiently, beneath the weight of the earth, beneath the weight of time itself. Perhaps the scrolls are lost, perhaps the wisdom they contained has faded with the passing years, but there is something else here, something that cannot be touched, only felt. The silence of the chamber is not empty, it is full, full of memory, full of presence, full of all that has been, and all that might have been. The stones around us, worn and weathered, seem to hum with the weight of ages, as though they have witnessed things we can never know. The air is thick with the history of the city, the secrets of its people, their lives, their sacrifices, their hopes. Petra was never just a city of commerce, of trade, of stone. It was a city of dreams, of aspirations, of mysteries too vast to be understood. It was a city that reached for the stars, that sought knowledge beyond the bounds of the earth. And now, in the deepening night, the chamber stands as a silent testament to those dreams, dreams that may never be fully realized, but will always remain, whispered in the wind, beneath the shadows of the stars. As we stand there, bathed in the moonlight, we feel the weight of the question that lingers in the air. Will the chamber's secret ever be revealed? Will the scrolls, the wisdom, the answers to the mysteries of Petra ever come to light? Or will they remain buried, hidden in the stone, just as the city itself remains alive only in the whispers of those who dare to listen, in the echoes that ripple across the desert night? Perhaps it was never meant to be found. Perhaps some things are meant to remain part of the earth, part of the silence, part of the moonlight that filters through the cracks in the stone. Perhaps the true mystery lies not in the scrolls, not in the answers, but in the waiting for something that may never come, but that will always remain, in the deep, ancient silence of Petra. The chamber's secrets, like the city itself, may be lost to time, but they are never gone. They linger, in the soft hum of the earth, in the shadow of the stone, in the breath of the wind. And as the night deepens, and the desert grows still once more, we are left to wonder. Some mysteries are never meant to be solved, but to be felt. And perhaps, in that quiet, in that waiting, we find the answer. Hidden deep within the rolling hills of Italy, where the earth breathes slowly under the touch of time, there lies a place where secrets sleep, where the very soil hums with the weight of an ancient past. This land, untouched by the heavy footfalls of history, holds a mystery older than the rise of Rome. Beneath the grass, beneath the stones, rests the tomb of the Etruscan kings, a place of silence, of shadows, and of a forgotten people whose whispers echo only in the spaces between breaths. It is said that the Etruscans, those ancient souls, knew the ways of the stars. They practiced rituals that reached beyond the world, touching the very essence of the divine. Their kingdom, long since lost to the sands of time, once flourished on the hillsides of Tuscany, where they built their cities in harmony with the cosmos. Yet as the stars passed, so too did they, fading into the mists of history, their cities overrun, their knowledge scattered like dust in the wind. Some believe that the kings of this lost civilization left behind something precious, something sacred, an object that holds the key to understanding their mysterious rise and fall. Their tombs, scattered across the land, are adorned with treasures, glittering jewels, intricate urns, and frescoes that seem to pulse with the life of the past. These sacred resting places are said to contain the essence of an age long forgotten, an age that spoke in whispers, in rituals, in symbols understood only by those who gazed into the heavens. But among these tombs, there is one, still untouched by time, still sealed beneath the earth, hidden in the shadows of the hills. A map, worn and brittle, speaks of its location marked by faint symbols, etched into the parchment by hands that no longer exist. The tomb remains elusive, its secrets buried deep within the earth, waiting for the one who dares to listen. The sun begins to dip below the horizon, casting a soft, golden light over the land. The hills, bathed in twilight, seem to beckon us, pulling us closer to that sacred place. We begin our journey as the day gives way to the cool embrace of night. The landscape, once familiar, now takes on a new form under the soft glow of the setting sun. The path ahead is overgrown, the stones worn by centuries of silence. The air grows cooler, thick with the scent of earth and moss. We descend, each step carrying us deeper into the earth, where the world above feels distant, muted. The sounds of the hills fade away, replaced by the soft rhythm of our own breath, the beating of our hearts, the whisper of the wind through the trees. As we move deeper into the earth, we feel the weight of the tomb's presence, a heavy, sacred silence that presses against us like the weight of the very soil. The tomb, though hidden, seems to call to us, drawing us into its depths, its ancient heart. It is as though the earth itself remembers what lies beneath, and we, the intruders, are guided by forces beyond our understanding. The walls of the tomb are cool to the touch, their surfaces smooth with age, the stone carrying the markings of those who built it, symbols that speak in a language older than time itself. The deeper we go, the more the air thickens, growing colder, denser. We pause, as if listening, as if waiting for the earth to speak. The silence is profound, heavy, almost alive. It is a silence that carries with it the weight of centuries, of wisdom, of knowledge that has not been forgotten, but merely hidden, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. Perhaps it is the tomb's secret, waiting for us to uncover it. Perhaps it is the earth's memory, holding fast to the ancient truths of a civilization lost to time. We reach the heart of the tomb. Before us stands a door, sealed with the weight of centuries. Its surface is smooth, its edges worn by time, its markings faded, almost indecipherable. But still, we can feel it, the presence of something ancient, something beyond our reach. The tomb lies before us, untouched by the hands of men, a world preserved in silence, in darkness. What lies within? What knowledge? What treasure? What artifact waits in the depths, concealed beneath layers of earth and stone? The answers are lost, carried away with the passage of time. Perhaps it is not meant for us to know. Perhaps some truths are best left buried, their meanings known only to the stars, known only to the earth itself. The question of the tomb's contents remains, as it always has, suspended in the cool, dark air. As we stand before the sealed stone, we are reminded that some mysteries are not meant to be solved. Some secrets are buried deep, not because they are forgotten, but because they are meant to remain veiled. The Etruscan kings, with their rituals, their wisdom, their celestial understanding, may have known something that we can never grasp. They may have left behind a trace of their knowledge, a fragment of their world, but it is not for us to claim. The tomb, with its silence, with its sealed door, holds the answers that we seek. Yet, those answers are not answers at all. They are simply whispers, echoes of a time long gone, carried on the breath of the earth, on the wind that moves through the trees. The kings who lie within are not forgotten. Their memory lives on, in the stones, in the air, in the stars that watched over them. And as the night deepens, as the shadows stretch long across the earth, we are left to wonder, will the secrets of the Etruscan kings ever be revealed? Will the tomb open its doors to those who seek? Or is it destined to remain forever sealed, its truths held fast beneath the weight of the earth? Perhaps it was never meant to be found. Perhaps some mysteries are not meant to be solved, but to be felt, to be experienced in the silence that lingers in the air, in the soft hum of the earth beneath our feet. The tomb, like the civilization that built it, remains in the shadows, marked by the moon, by the stars, by the whispers of those who once lived. The secrets of the Etruscan kings may remain forever hidden, their story carried only by the silence of the tomb and the soft, eternal echo of the earth. Some voices only echo when we are ready to listen, and perhaps the tomb's secret will remain, like a breath held in the dark, waiting for the right moment to be heard. Until then, we stand in awe of the silence that holds all the answers, and yet tells us nothing at all. In the quiet depths of the Mediterranean, beneath the gentle sway of the sea, there lies a place where time has been swallowed whole, where silence stretches its long arms over the remnants of the greatest library the world has ever known. It is said that once, the Library of Alexandria housed the wisdom of the ancient world, a sanctuary where scholars gathered beneath the flickering lamps, where scrolls filled with the knowledge of the ages were passed from hand to hand, a place where the stars themselves seemed to pause in their journey, drawn by the gravity of the words written on papyrus and parchment. But now, the library rests beneath the water's surface, lost to the depths, its vast halls and soaring shelves now hidden in the embrace of the sea. What was once filled with the voices of the greatest thinkers of antiquity, the debates, the questions, the search for answers, now lies silent, its knowledge fading into the dark, forgotten corners of the earth. Some say it was a fire that consumed the scrolls, that took away the treasure troves of thought, the ancient maps of understanding that spanned the heavens and the earth. Others believe that time itself, in its inexorable march forward, drowned the library, dragging it to the bottom of the sea. But what remains, beyond the fire and the flood, is a mystery that stirs the imagination. We begin our journey not on the land, but in the waters, the shallow waters, where the sun's rays still reach through the surface, casting a soft, golden light that dances upon the ruins. As the cool water moves around us, the silhouettes of ancient stones begin to emerge from the depths, columns, fragments of walls, archways that once opened to the boundless knowledge of the world. These are the silent sentinels of a forgotten time, their stories hidden beneath the waves, their voices muffled by the weight of the sea. The ruins are still, but not lifeless. There is a presence here, a subtle hum that speaks in the language of silence. It is said that the spirits of the library, the scholars who once filled its halls, still linger in the water, their minds adrift in the currents, their thoughts scattered like the scrolls that were lost. Perhaps, if we listen closely enough, we might hear their whispers, faint as the ripples that break the surface. But the silence is deep, too deep, and no matter how much we search, the words remain just beyond reach. The water grows cooler, darker. As we move deeper into the sea, the ruins become more fragmented, their edges softened by time and water. Columns lie in broken heaps, their once proud faces now eroded by the touch of the ocean's breath. The library, it seems, has become one with the sea, as if the two are inseparable, like the knowledge of the world and the endless vastness of the ocean, both full of mystery, both too immense for the mind to fully comprehend. The scrolls, the maps, the precious works of art and literature, what happened to them? Where did they go when the flames took the city, or when the waters claimed their home? In the deep, where light fades into shadow, We imagine the library as it once was, filled with life, with the sound of ink on parchment, with the flickering of oil lamps in the corners of great halls. Scholars, with their faces illuminated by the soft glow of their studies, would have gathered to debate the great questions of the cosmos. The stars, it is said, were studied here, their movements charted, their meanings sought by those who believed the heavens held the answers to the mysteries of the world. What knowledge was passed through these hands? What thoughts once made their way into the minds of those who sought them? What was preserved, and what has since been lost? Perhaps there were scrolls written by the minds of great philosophers, their words etched carefully into the fragile parchment, speaking of the nature of the universe, the purpose of life, the future of humanity. Or perhaps there were maps that traced the paths of stars, the locations of forgotten civilizations, the hidden chambers of the earth itself. What might have been recorded here, and what remains? As the current shifts, the faintest glimmer of something golden catches our eye. A fragment of a scroll, a jewel. The light from above seems to play tricks on us, casting shadows and reflections that tease the mind. But no, it is only the water, distorting our vision. The deeper we go, the harder it becomes to separate myth from reality. Perhaps the treasures of Alexandria lie not in objects, not in physical remnants, but in the very idea of the library itself, in the ideals of learning, of seeking, of wondering, that it represented. The deeper we dive, the more elusive these treasures become, slipping through our fingers like the currents that carry them away. The water grows colder still, and the sense of the past deepens, almost suffocating. It is as though the sea, with all its vastness, holds on tightly to the secrets that it has claimed. What is left of the library? What wisdom remains beneath the layers of sediment, beneath the great weight of time? Perhaps, in the deepest part of the ocean, some part of the library waits its scrolls, its knowledge, its essence waiting for the moment when the earth shifts again, when the sun breaks through the surface and the light reaches once more to illuminate what has been hidden for so long. But as the silence thickens around us, we are left with the feeling that some things are meant to remain as they are lost, hidden in the folds of time. Some things are not meant to be uncovered, not because they are unimportant, but because they are too sacred, too fragile for our hands. Perhaps the wisdom of the library is one of these things. Perhaps its true treasure lies not in the scrolls, not in the artifacts, but in the act of seeking itself, the endless quest for knowledge, for understanding, for connection with the stars. We drift now, suspended in the deep, the ruins around us fading into the murk, the light above growing dimmer, as though we are slowly being drawn into the very fabric of the sea. The questions we ask may never be answered. The wisdom we seek may never be revealed. But in this space, in the quiet darkness of the water, we come to understand that the library's true gift is not to be found in its physical remnants. Its true gift is in the silence, in the mystery, in the quiet hum of knowledge that is held, eternally, in the depths. Some things, no matter how deeply we search, are meant to remain untouched. Some knowledge, no matter how much we long for it, is not for us to possess, and perhaps it is in this unspoken truth that the greatest wisdom of all resides. The ocean, with its vast, endless depths, carries with it the memory of Alexandria, its library, its scholars, its wisdom. All of it lies in the silence, held deep within the heart of the sea. As the currents pull us gently onward, we feel the pull of something ancient, something timeless, something that will always remain just beyond our grasp. And in that space, in that quiet mystery, we are left with the knowing that perhaps some things are better left in the dark, to be carried on the whispers of the wind, the ripples of the sea, and the starlight that once illuminated the pages of the greatest library the world has ever known. Along the windswept coast of Brittany, where the sky kisses the sea and the earth hums with ancient rhythms, there stands a field of stones, silent, ancient, and waiting. These stones, known as the menhirs of Karnak, rise from the earth like the forgotten memories of a people long gone, arranged in perfect patterns that stretch toward the horizon. Their form is a riddle, each one standing firm, carved from the bones of the earth, their surfaces worn by centuries of wind and rain, yet still they remain, unbroken, resolute, The silence they cast is heavy, as if the stones themselves are holding their breath, waiting for the question that lingers in the air. Who placed them here? And why? Some believe these stones are not simply relics of an ancient past, but keys to a deeper mystery, one that has defied understanding for millennia. It is said that their alignment is no mere coincidence, that their placement is a deliberate act of celestial design, a map of the heavens themselves. Could they have been an astronomical calendar, designed to mark the turning of the seasons, the dance of the stars? Or perhaps they were once a temple, a sacred place for gods whose names have faded from memory, their rites lost to the passage of time. Some whisper that these stones hold a secret code, etched into the very fabric of the earth, waiting to be deciphered by those whose minds are open enough to see. But as we stand before them, we are left with the question, what purpose did they serve? And perhaps, what purpose do they serve still? As the moon rises, casting a soft glow over the field of menhirs, the air grows cooler, and the shadows lengthen. The stones themselves seem to shift in the dim light, their surfaces glowing faintly with the pulse of an ancient energy, as if they are alive, their presence calling to us in ways that we cannot fully comprehend. We step closer, feeling the weight of their age, the weight of the earth that has held them for so long. Each stone seems to speak in its own language, etched with symbols that defy understanding, their meaning lost to time. But even without understanding, we cannot help but feel the power they exude, silent, unyielding, waiting. It is said that these stones were placed here long before the rise of civilization, perhaps before written language itself. How could a people so long forgotten have left behind such a testament to their existence, such a monument to their understanding of the world? Was it an offering to the gods, a gift to the heavens themselves? Or was it something more, something meant not for the gods, but for those who would come after, for us, standing in the moonlight, searching for answers? With each step we take among the stones, we are drawn deeper into their presence, as though they are guiding us, leading us along a path of understanding that we are only beginning to perceive. The air is thick with the scent of earth and salt, the sound of the waves crashing against the rocks in the distance, a soft, rhythmic pulse that echoes the heartbeat of the earth itself. We move quietly, reverently, as if we are intruders in a place where silence is sacred, where the language of the stones is something only the wind and the stars can understand. The stones stand in perfect alignment, stretching across the landscape in rows, as if marking the passage of time itself. They reach toward the horizon, and beyond it, toward the stars. Some of them are taller than others, their surfaces covered in intricate carvings, symbols, spirals, images that seem to dance in the moonlight, as if they are alive, waiting to be read. And yet, no matter how closely we look, no matter how much we yearn to understand, the meaning of these symbols eludes us. Perhaps they are not meant to be understood in the way we think. Perhaps their true meaning lies in the very act of looking, in the silent reverence we offer as we stand before them. As the moonlight dances across the stones, their surfaces seem to shimmer with an otherworldly glow, casting long shadows that stretch across the ground, like the fingers of time itself. We are standing at the edge of something ancient, something vast, something that stretches beyond the limits of human understanding. The stones are a bridge between what was and what is, a link to a time before history, before written language, before the gods we know. And as we stand there, bathed in the soft light of the moon, we cannot help but feel that we are in the presence of something far older, far greater than ourselves. The silence around us is profound, almost sacred. It is as though the stones are not merely objects of the past, but keepers of something deeper, something that exists in the spaces between the stars, between the breaths we take. They are not just markers of time, but witnesses to the passage of time itself, holding within them the stories of those who came before, of those who placed them here, and of those who will come after. Perhaps their true purpose is not to answer the questions we ask, but to remind us that some mysteries are meant to remain unsolved. Some things are better left in the silence, in the waiting, in the space between the questions and the answers. As we walk among the stones, the wind picks up, sending whispers through the field, stirring the dust at our feet. The whispers are not words, not language, but something deeper, something that speaks directly to the soul. It is the language of the earth, of the stars, of the silence that exists beyond time. We pause, standing still, allowing the silence to wash over us, feeling the presence of the stones, the presence of those who placed them here, and of the land that has held them for so long. The stones are not the only presence here, not the only mystery. The land itself, the sky, the stars, everything around us seems to be part of a greater whole, a greater pattern that we are only beginning to glimpse. The menhirs of Karnak are not isolated, not separate from the world, but part of a vast and intricate web of knowledge, of ancient truths that stretch beyond the reach of human understanding. Perhaps the answers are not to be found in the stones themselves, but in the way the stones are connected to the earth, to the sky, to the stars, to the very pulse of the universe. As the moon climbs higher in the sky, casting its light over the stones, we are reminded that the mysteries of the menhirs are not ours to solve. They are not puzzles to be figured out, but sacred symbols to be respected, to be experienced, to be felt. The stones speak to us not with words, but with presence, and in their presence, we are reminded of something profound, something that transcends time, something that speaks of the eternal. Perhaps it was never meant to be understood, only to be felt. As we leave the field of stones, the silence of Karnak follows us, lingering in the cool night air, wrapping itself around us like a memory. The questions we carried with us are still there, suspended in the space between us and the stones, but they no longer feel as urgent. For in the silence, in the waiting, we find something deeper than answers, something that resonates in the very core of our being. The stones may never reveal their secrets, but perhaps that is their gift, not to give answers, but to lead us to the quiet place where the mysteries of the world can be felt, not solved, but simply understood. Perhaps some mysteries are not meant to be solved. Some things are meant to remain silent, waiting for the moment when we are ready to listen, and in that silence, we find the answers we need. At the edge of the world, where the waters of the Atlantic meet the wind-swept shores of Brittany, there lies a city, forgotten by time, lost beneath the sea. The legendary kingdom of Ys, once a realm of unmatched beauty, now lies submerged in the cold, dark depths of the ocean, hidden beneath layers of salt and silence. It is said that the city was so resplendent, so rich in magic and splendor, that it angered the gods themselves. In their wrath, they drowned it, sinking the kingdom to the depths as punishment for the king's fateful bargain with the ocean. The tale of Ys is as old as the sea itself, passed down through generations, whispered on the winds and carried by the tides. Some say the kingdom was a dream, a myth woven from the mists of time. Others believe it was real, a city of gilded streets, of soaring temples dedicated to forgotten gods, where the walls shimmered with gold and the air was thick with the scent of incense and mystery. But now, nothing remains of Ys but fragments, submerged beneath the waves, lost to the depths, waiting for the moment when it will be remembered again. As we drift through the fog, the soft embrace of the sea around us, we are drawn toward the ruins, barely visible beneath the water's surface. The ocean holds its breath, the air thick with salt, with memory. We follow the whispers of the city, searching for traces of what once was. The water is still, the surface reflecting the muted light of the sky, and beneath it, the stones begin to emerge, crumbling, delicate, worn by centuries of salt and time. The remnants of what might have been the streets of Ys are faint, a mere suggestion of their former grandeur. Yet, they remain, silent, waiting. It is said that the king of Ys made a bargain with the ocean itself, a pact forged in the depths, one that would bring untold wealth and power to his kingdom. But in exchange, the ocean demanded a price that the king could not see. As Ys flourished, its streets gleaming with gold, its people basking in the warmth of the god's favor, the sea stirred beneath, waiting. The king, consumed by his desire for greatness, could not hear the warning that whispered through the tides. And so, it is told, the ocean rose up, swallowing the city whole, drowning it beneath the waves, leaving nothing but silence in its wake. As we glide through the fog, the ruins come into focus, like ghosts from a forgotten past. The stones, worn smooth by the hands of time, speak to us without words. They are not just remnants of a lost city. They are memories, etched into the very fabric of the earth, whispers of a place that once stood at the edge of the world. There are no words here, only the soft murmur of the water, the slow pull of the tides. The city is a shadow now, its temples crumbled, its streets empty, its people vanished, but still, it lingers in the depths. Beneath the silence of the ocean, we feel the weight of the kingdom's memory, its beauty, its power, its fall. The air grows thicker as we descend deeper, the world above us fading into the distance. The ocean seems to close around us, holding us in its embrace, as though it is not just the city of Ys that has been submerged, but the very essence of time itself, trapped beneath the waves. The water is cold, yet there is a warmth to it, a presence that cannot be denied. We are not alone here. We are surrounded by the remnants of a kingdom, a people, a story that has been lost to the ages. We pause, suspended in the deep, and the questions begin to stir. Was Ys real, or was it only a myth, born from the dreams of those who longed for a city of perfection? Perhaps the kingdom existed only in the hearts of those who imagined it, a vision of what might have been, lost forever to the depths of time. Or perhaps it was once as real as the stones beneath our feet, a place where the gods walked among mortals, where the air was thick with magic and mystery. The ocean, in its eternal silence, holds the answer, but it is one that we may never know. As we drift through the ruins, the stones grow clearer, more distinct. There are remnants of walls, faint outlines of structures, broken arches that once framed the sky. Some say that beneath the waves, in the deepest part of the ocean, the golden gates of Ys still stand, their treasures hidden from the world. The ocean holds them in its depths, guarding them from those who would seek them. But the sea is patient, and the gates remain closed, their secrets washed away with the tides. We feel a stirring within the water, a movement beneath us. The ocean stirs, as though it remembers the kingdom, remembers the pact made so long ago. The faintest trace of a whisper reaches us, carried on the currents. Perhaps it is the voice of the king, calling out to the ocean, seeking redemption for his folly. Or perhaps it is the voice of the people of Ys, their memories lingering in the depths, waiting to be remembered. The water hums with this ancient song, a lullaby of loss, of longing, of a kingdom that will never rise again. The silence grows deeper, more profound. The ruins fade into the distance, the water growing darker as we descend further into the depths. The surface of the sea above us is a distant memory, a fading echo. Here, in the heart of the ocean, the kingdom of Ys remains, suspended between time and eternity, caught in the liminal space between myth and memory. The stones, though crumbled, though worn, still hold their power. They are not just relics of a bygone age, but symbols of something larger, something eternal. Perhaps they are markers, left behind not for us to understand, but for us to feel. They are reminders of the fragility of greatness, of the price of ambition, of the delicate balance between the gods and mortals. The ocean has swallowed the city, but its story remains, carried in the depths, in the ebb and flow of the tides. And as we float in the quiet dark, the questions linger, unanswered, like the gentle rise and fall of the sea itself. Could Ys rise again, brought forth from the depths by the hand of the gods? Or is it forever submerged, its secrets locked away in the embrace of the ocean, its golden gates forever closed? Perhaps some things are never meant to be found. Perhaps the kingdom was always meant to remain beneath the waves, its story told only in whispers, carried on the currents of time. Some voices, it seems, only echo when we are ready to listen. And perhaps, in the silence of the sea, we are hearing not the echoes of Ys, but the quiet hum of the universe itself, speaking to us in the language of the deep, where memory fades, and all that remains is the weight of the water, the pull of the tides, and the eternal mystery of the forgotten kingdom of Ys. In the heart of the Yucatan Peninsula, beneath the vast, ancient skies, there stands a temple, an awe-inspiring pyramid, crowned with the jagged shadows of the past. The Great Pyramid of Kukulkan, towering above the jungle's embrace, rises like a forgotten deity, its stone steps etched with centuries of memory. It is said that once, when the skies above aligned in perfect harmony, the sacred serpent god, Kukulkan, would descend its steps, not in flesh, but in shadow, his presence visible only to those who knew how to read the stars and the stones. As we stand before the temple, the air is heavy with the weight of 1,000 years. The jungle hums softly in the distance. But here, within the shadow of this ancient structure, all is still. The silence is profound, as if the earth itself is holding its breath, waiting for something, waiting for us to remember. Above us, the stars begin to twinkle, one by one, like the faintest glimmers of a forgotten story, casting their ancient light upon the pyramid's stone. The shadows shift as the moon rises, its pale glow stretching across the steps of the temple, bringing the image of Kukulkan's serpent to life. The temple hums with an ancient rhythm, an echo of a time when the stars were the guides, when the heavens were aligned with the earth in ways that we can no longer fully comprehend. It is said that, during the spring equinox, when the sun was poised just right in the sky, a shadow would stretch down the steps of the pyramid, perfectly formed, perfectly timed. The serpent god, Kukulkan, would appear, descending in a silent procession, his body tracing the contours of the pyramid, the shadow of his descent rippling across the stone. The priests, gathered at the base, would wait in reverence, knowing that this sacred dance held a meaning deeper than the eyes could see, a celestial message, a sign of divine balance, of the earth's relationship with the heavens. But what was the true purpose of this sacred site? What message did the ancient priests seek to convey with the alignment of the stars, the ritual dance of the serpent, and the turning of the seasons? The temple, with its stone stairways, its carved faces, its weathered steps, holds its secrets close, secrets whispered only in the stillness of the night, when the wind rustles the leaves and the stars align in their ancient dance. We take a step closer, the stone beneath our feet cool and ancient. The pyramid looms before us, casting long shadows in the moonlight, its steps rising, one by one, toward the heavens. The silence around us deepens, and we feel the weight of centuries pressing in. It is as if the very air here has absorbed the footsteps of all those who have come before us, the priests, the kings, the people of the city, each leaving a trace of their presence in the stone, in the earth. The pyramid stands as a testament to something larger than the human hand, something that reaches beyond time, beyond the visible world, into the realm of the gods. The wind stirs gently, lifting the scent of earth and distant rain. We stand, suspended in this moment, beneath the vast, unbroken sky. The stars above seem to pulse, as though alive, as though waiting for the serpent's descent, waiting for the ancient rhythm to unfold once again. The energy here is palpable, thick with the weight of the past, with the mysteries that were once understood but are now just beyond our reach. In the stillness, we begin to wonder, what did the priests see in the stars? What message did they hope to transmit through the dance of Kukulkan's shadow, through the movement of the celestial bodies and the turning of the earth? Was it a message of rebirth, of renewal, of divine order, or was it something else, a warning, perhaps, from the gods themselves, written in the movements of the stars, carved in the stone beneath our feet? Perhaps it was never meant to be fully understood. Perhaps the very mystery of the pyramid's alignment and the serpent's descent was a message unto itself, one that spoke not in words, but in symbols, in rhythms, in the language of the earth and the sky. The ancients knew that some things were too great for mere words, too vast to be explained. They knew that the heavens and the earth spoke their own language, one that could only be understood by those who were attuned to the pulse of the world, to the steady beat of the universe itself. As the night deepens, we move slowly, reverently, toward the base of the pyramid, where the stones seem to hum with the memory of ancient feet, where the air is thick with the echoes of 1,000 rituals. The shadows stretch longer now, merging with the night, and the serpent god, though invisible, seems to rise before us, his presence felt more strongly with each passing moment. We feel the weight of the stone beneath our feet, the weight of the temple above us, the weight of all that has come before, and we realize that the dance of Kukulkan is not just a movement of shadow on stone, but a movement of time itself, a reminder that all things, empires, gods, Cities are bound to the rhythms of the earth and the stars. Beneath the moon's watchful gaze, the pyramid holds its secrets, just as it has for centuries. The shadow of the serpent, once cast in perfect alignment with the celestial bodies, has faded from view, but its memory lingers, like a whisper in the wind, like a breath caught in time. We stand at the edge of the sacred, gazing up at the towering structure, feeling the pull of something ancient, something profound. The stars above seem to guide us, their light shining down like a path. But the path is one we may never fully walk. The messages of the pyramid, of Kukulkan's descent, are beyond us, hidden in the silence between the stars, lost to the passing of time. As we stand beneath the pyramid, we realize that perhaps some answers are not meant to be found. Perhaps the purpose of the temple was never to explain, but to remind us of our place in the vastness of the universe, of the eternal dance between the heavens and the earth, of the delicate balance between life and death, between the seen and the unseen. The pyramid stands, not as a relic of the past, but as a bridge between worlds, a reminder of a time when the earth and the stars were more closely aligned, when the rhythm of the universe was understood in ways we can no longer comprehend. And so, we stand, suspended in the quiet embrace of the night, beneath the gaze of the stars, the silent witness to the temple's mysteries. We are left with the feeling that some questions, some answers, are meant to be lost to time, preserved in the shadows, in the silence. Perhaps it was never meant to be fully understood. Perhaps the temple of Kukulkan, like the stars themselves, is a mystery meant only to be felt an eternal dance, marking the passage of time, a rhythm that continues long after we are gone. Some mysteries, it seems, are not meant to be solved. Some voices only echo when we are ready to listen, and perhaps, in the silence of the night, beneath the ancient pyramid, we are hearing not the answer, but the question itself. And in that question, in that silence, we find our place in the eternal dance of the universe. In the heart of Myanmar, beneath the fading light of a forgotten day, the ancient city of Bagan rises from the mist-covered plains, like a dream half-remembered. Thousands of temples, their stone walls carved with the stories of the divine, stretch towards the sky, their spires piercing the heavens. The air here is thick with the scent of incense, the smoke curling in sacred tendrils, and the dust of ages long past, settling like a blanket over the ruins. In this land, time seems to stand still, as if the earth itself holds its breath, waiting for something that will never come. Among these temples, scattered across the plains, there are bell towers tall and proud, their forms etched against the dimming sky. Each tower holds a secret, a sacred relic, a bell that has remained silent for centuries. It is said that when the Buddha attained enlightenment beneath the Bodhi tree, the sound of a single bell rang across the land, a sound so pure, so profound, that it reverberated through the very core of the earth. It is whispered that the bells of Bagan were cast in the same spirit, their purpose to echo the moment of the Buddha's awakening, to remind all who listened of the profound silence that comes with true understanding. But some of these bells, it is said, have not sounded in centuries. As we wander through the ruins, the path winding through the stones, we are drawn to one of the forgotten towers. The wind stirs the leaves of the trees around us, a soft, almost imperceptible sigh that whispers of ancient things. The tower before us is weathered, its stones softened by the weight of time, its surface cracked and faded, yet within its shadow there is a presence one that seems to stretch beyond the visible world. The bell inside remains still, its silence a heavy weight in the air, as though it, too, is waiting for something. There is a story that the bell has never rung, that it is bound by a time that is no longer ours to understand. The story of its sacred sound lingers, held in the very walls of the tower, in the spaces between the wind's breath, in the spaces between the stars. It is said that the bell is meant to ring at the moment of true enlightenment, but that moment has yet to come, and so it remains silent, waiting. The bell may never sound, but in its silence there is a resonance, one that calls not to the ears, but to the soul. The air here is still, the silence profound. As we sit beneath the towering spires of the temple, we feel the weight of the lost centuries pressing against us, as though the echoes of the past are calling out from the stone itself. The shadows of the once great city stretch across the plains, and for a moment we can almost hear the murmur of prayers long forgotten, the whispers of monks who once walked these paths, their hearts in tune with the rhythm of the earth. Yet, in this silence, there is no sorrow, only a deep, sacred peace. The bell, though it has never rung, carries with it something deeper, something more than sound. It carries the memory of a time when the world was still, when the divine was present in every moment. The absence of the bell's sound is not a void, but a reminder of what is lost, of what remains, and of the silence that is the very foundation of all understanding. It is said that to hear the bell of Bagan is to hear the universe itself, the pulse of the cosmos, reverberating through the stones, through the wind, through the air. Yet, perhaps the true meaning of the bell's silence is not in the sound that was never heard, but in the stillness it creates. In the stillness, we find ourselves, we find the space to listen to the earth, to the wind, to the echoes of our own hearts. The tower before us stands tall, its spire reaching upward, a silent testament to a forgotten time. The stone is cool beneath our hands, worn smooth by centuries of touch, and in this moment we are reminded that the most profound truths are not always spoken aloud. Sometimes they are carried in the spaces between the words, in the silence that follows. The bell may never ring, but the message it carries of peace, of enlightenment, of quiet wisdom remains, woven into the very fabric of this place. As the sun sets behind the ruins, the sky turning to a deep, dusky blue, we sit in the stillness, letting the silence wash over us. The temple, the bell, the city, each one a part of a larger rhythm, a larger cycle that we are only beginning to understand. The air grows cooler, the night creeping in like a soft cloak, wrapping us in its embrace. The stars begin to twinkle overhead, distant lights that seem to hum with a silent, eternal song. Perhaps it was never meant to be found, this sacred sound, this moment of true enlightenment. Perhaps the bell's silence is a message unto itself, a message that the search for understanding is not always a search for sound, but for the stillness within. The bell will never ring, but in that absence, we hear something far greater, the heartbeat of the earth, the pulse of the universe, the sound of silence itself. Some voices, it seems, only echo when we are ready to listen, and perhaps, in the silence of the bell, in the stillness of Bagan's forgotten temples, we find the answer we have been seeking. Not in the ringing of the bell, but in the quiet peace that follows, in the space between breaths, where the past and present intertwine, and where the secrets of the world are held in the silence. In the heart of ancient Greece, in the rolling hills where the winds whisper the secrets of the gods, there once burned a fire bright, eternal, unyielding. The sacred flame of Olympia, a symbol of unity and strength, once rose from the earth like a beacon, lighting the path for those who would come to honor the gods in the spirit of competition. It is said that every 4 years, the flame was reignited with the utmost reverence, a flame that marked the beginning of the ancient Olympic Games, a time when athletes from every corner of the known world gathered in sacred union. The light of the flame shone not only on their bodies but on their spirits, binding them to each other and to the divine, as they ran beneath the watchful eyes of the gods. Yet, after the fall of the ancient Olympic Games, that sacred fire was extinguished, leaving behind only the memory of its warmth, the echo of its light. The flames may have died, but the spirit of Olympia, the spirit of the flame, lingers still quiet, but ever present, like a whisper in the wind, like the soft rustling of the trees that now grow between the crumbling ruins. We begin our journey in the stillness of the ancient stadium, where the stone pillars rise toward the sky like silent witnesses, their forms etched with the weight of time. The wind stirs gently, brushing the stone with a touch as light as a memory. The air is thick with the scent of earth, of old stone, of something far older than our understanding. The ruins, though weathered by the centuries, seem to hold a presence, as though they are waiting for the story to be told again. The stadium, now empty, once echoed with the sounds of footfalls on the track, the cries of victory, the cheers of the crowd. But now, it is quiet, save for the soft murmur of the wind that winds its way through the columns, carrying with it a faint trace of the fire that once illuminated these grounds. We walk along the track, feeling the weight of the past beneath our feet, the very stones seeming to hum with the energy of those who ran here, competed here, lived here. In the stillness, we can almost hear the faintest breath of the flame, the spirit of the fire that once burned here. The air seems to shiver with the memory of it, as though the flame still burns somewhere deep in the earth, beneath the stone. The flame is gone, yes, but its essence remains, its spirit held in the stones, in the quiet rustling of the trees, in the soft whispers of time itself. It is said that the flame was more than just a symbol of victory, it was a promise, a covenant between the athletes and the gods, a reminder of the divine connection that binds us all, that calls us to strive, to reach beyond ourselves in the pursuit of greatness. The flame, in its purity, was a reflection of the light that burns within every human soul, a call to honor the gods, to honor each other, to honor the earth. And so, when the flame was extinguished, it was not just a loss of light, it was the loss of something sacred, something eternal. As we wander through the ruins, our footsteps soft against the ancient stones, we can feel the presence of those who came before us, the athletes who ran here in the name of honor, the priests who tended the flame, the crowds who gathered to witness the divine spectacle. Their spirits seem to linger in the air, their dreams and aspirations woven into the very fabric of Olympia. The flames may have gone out, but their energy, their passion, their faith still remains, like the silent imprint of a past that will never fully fade. We pause for a moment, standing in the quiet, and look out over the empty stadium. The grandness of it all, the majesty, is still visible in the stone, still present in the shape of the columns that rise like the fingers of forgotten gods reaching toward the sky. The flame is gone, but the memory of it stretches across the centuries like the fading light of a star. Perhaps it was never meant to last forever. Perhaps the flame, like all things, had its time. And when that time came to an end, it was not the fire itself that was important, but what it left behind. The spirit of the flame, the spirit of Olympia, is carried in the hearts of those who remember, those who understand the significance of the sacred fire. It lives on not in the blaze that once illuminated the stadium, but in the quiet reverence of those who walk these ruins, in the silence of the wind that carries the whispers of the past. The eternal fire is not a flicker of light, but a stillness, a calm that resides in the heart, a flame that burns softly in the soul of every person who feels the pull of the divine. As the sun begins to set behind the distant hills, casting the stadium in a soft, golden light, we feel the passage of time more keenly. The light of day fades slowly, and with it, the shadows grow longer, stretching across the track, reaching toward the temples that once stood in honor of the gods. The flame of Olympia may have been extinguished, but in this moment, as we stand in the quiet of the ruins, it feels as though the flame still burns somewhere deep inside, a fire that will never truly die. It is said that the true meaning of the flame of Olympia lies not in the light that once illuminated the stadium, but in the spirit it represents. The fire may have been snuffed out, but the warmth it gave still lingers in the hearts of those who remember its purpose. It remains in the stone, in the track, in the very air around us, an echo, a whisper, a reminder of a time when the flame burned bright, a time when the unity of the gods and the athletes was symbolized by a single, sacred fire. And so, as the stars begin to appear in the sky above, their light twinkling softly in the growing darkness, we stand beneath the silence of the temple, beneath the silent witnesses of the ruins, and we listen. The eternal fire remains, not in the flame itself, but in the memory of what it once represented. The silence speaks to us in ways words cannot express, and we are left, suspended in wonder, knowing that some things, some sacred things, are meant to remain, like the quiet glow of stars in the night sky, eternal and unyielding. Perhaps the flame was never meant to be reignited. Perhaps it lives on only in the stillness, in the quiet rustling of the trees, in the heartbeat of the earth. And in this quiet, in this sacred silence, we are reminded that some fires burn brightest in the memories we carry with us, in the shadows that linger long after the light has gone. Some flames never die. They simply shift, finding new ways to burn within us. And so we leave the ruins of Olympia, the eternal fire still flickering softly in our hearts, like the last traces of light on the horizon, waiting for the next dawn to rise. Beneath the soft, fading light of dusk, where the quiet hum of the earth lingers and the stars begin to stretch across the sky, there lies an object, forgotten by time, yet filled with secrets of ancient worlds. The Nebra sky disk, its golden motifs shimmering in the waning light, rests at the heart of Europe, buried, discovered, and now held in quiet reverence. This sacred disk, more than just an artifact, speaks of a time when humanity looked to the heavens not as distant lights, but as a map, a guide, a rhythm to which all life was attuned. And as we trace the intricate symbols etched into its surface, we feel the pull of a distant past, a past where the stars were not just observed, but understood. It is said that the people who crafted the Nebra sky disk were far ahead of their time, their knowledge of the celestial bodies woven into the very fabric of their lives. Some believe that the disk itself was not simply a decorative object, but a tool, a map of the heavens, a calendar of sorts, guiding their understanding of the seasons, the stars, and the cycles of time. The golden arcs etched into its surface, the sun and the moon, the stars aligned in a pattern so precise, speak of an ancient wisdom that connected the earth to the heavens. Whispers tell us that it was used to chart the movements of celestial bodies, to predict the changes in the seasons, to mark the sacred moments when the stars and the earth were in perfect harmony. But what did they know of the stars? What stories did they tell? And what wisdom did they seek? As we trace the spirals, the arcs, the dots that symbolize distant stars and the rhythms of the cosmos, we are drawn into a deep mystery, a mystery that stretches far beyond the reach of our modern understanding. What did these ancient people know that we have forgotten? What was their connection to the heavens? And why did they carve their knowledge into a disk of gold, bury it deep in the earth, and leave it for us to find so many centuries later? As the twilight deepens and the stars above begin to reveal their ancient constellations, we stand in awe of the disk's silent wisdom. The cool evening air wraps itself around us like a blanket, and the distant cries of the night birds rise in the stillness. In this moment, beneath the open sky, we are filled with a quiet sense of wonder, a feeling that the answers, like the stars themselves, are far beyond our reach, shimmering just out of view, hidden in the vastness of the night. The more we try to understand the symbols, the more we sense that their true meaning lies not in the images themselves, but in the connection between them, the way they mirror the dance of the stars, the cyclical patterns that govern the heavens and the earth. The Nebra sky disk, now lost in the folds of time, was once a part of a culture that sought to understand the universe not through the lens of science, but through the lens of reverence, of spiritual connection. In the stillness of the night, as the wind brushes gently against the trees and the earth hums with quiet energy, we feel that connection. We feel that the disk was not just a tool for navigation, not just a sacred object, but something more, a symbol of humanity's longing to connect with something larger, something eternal. It was a bridge between the earth and the heavens, a representation of the divine order that governs all things, both seen and unseen. As we trace the edges of the disk with our fingers, we are transported back to a time when the stars were not just distant lights in the sky, but living, breathing guides. The people who created this disk did not see themselves as separate from the heavens, but as part of a greater cosmic dance, a rhythm that tied them to the stars, to the seasons, to the pulse of the earth itself. The golden arcs, the spiral, the carefully placed dots, all are part of a larger story, a story that stretches beyond the limits of our understanding. Perhaps they knew something we have forgotten, something that cannot be found in books or equations, but only in the quiet moments when we stop and listen to the world around us. In forgotten corners of the earth, beneath the soft earth and the roots of ancient trees, the wisdom of the Nebra sky disk waits to be understood again. Some believe it was a guide for the ancients, a way to mark the passage of time, to align their lives with the movement of the stars. Others believe it was a sacred object, one imbued with the power to connect the human soul to the cosmos. And yet, there are still others who whisper that the disk was more than a tool or a symbol. It was a message, a call from the heavens, a plea for understanding, for connection, for the harmony that once existed between the earth and the stars. As we stand beneath the night sky, looking up at the stars that have watched over humanity for millennia, we are left with a feeling of quiet reverence. The disk, though centuries old, seems to resonate with the same energy that pulses through the night sky, through the earth beneath our feet. It is as though the answers we seek, the wisdom we long for, are not far away. They are hidden in the spaces between the stars, in the whispers of the wind, in the silence of the earth. Perhaps the true meaning of the disk is not something we can decipher with our minds, but something we must feel with our hearts, something that calls to us when we are ready to listen. The night grows darker, and the stars above us seem to shine brighter, their ancient light reaching across the sky like fingers tracing the edges of the past. We are left with the quiet sense that the wisdom of the Nebra sky disk, like the stars themselves, is beyond our grasp, yet always present, always waiting for us to find it in our own time. The disk may have been buried, lost to history, but its spirit remains alive in the stars, in the quiet rhythm of the cosmos that continues to pulse through the ages. And as we stand here, beneath the vast, infinite sky, we are left with the haunting sense that some questions are not meant to be answered, not meant to be fully understood. Perhaps the true meaning of the Nebra sky disk is not in the symbols themselves, but in the silence. They evoke the silence that opens up a space for us to listen, to feel, to remember the ancient wisdom that has been passed down through the stars, through the earth, through the quiet moments of our lives. Perhaps it was never meant to be found, not in the way we expect, not in the way we search. Perhaps the answers are always just beyond our reach, like the stars themselves, flickering in the distance, waiting for us to listen, to understand, and to remember. And as we gaze up at the stars, we are reminded that some mysteries, like the vastness of the universe, are not for us to solve. They are for us to embrace, to carry with us in the quiet stillness of the night. Some voices, it seems, only echo when we are ready to listen, and perhaps the message of the Nebra sky disk is one that we must wait for, one that will reveal itself when the time is right. Until then, we remain, like the stars themselves, distant witnesses to an ancient story, a story that stretches across time, across the heavens, and into the very heart of our being. In the heart of the desert, where the golden sands stretch endlessly under the burning sun, there stands a figure older than time itself, silent, unmoving, watching. The great Sphinx of Giza, with its enigmatic face and lion's body, gazes across the barren expanse, its eyes fixed upon the horizon, as if seeing beyond the limits of the earth and into realms unknown. For millennia, it has stood as a guardian, its gaze unwavering, as the winds of time and sand have carved away at its features, leaving behind only the mystery of its purpose. Some believe the Sphinx was built as a symbol of strength and wisdom, others as an ancient riddle, a puzzle wrapped in the enigma of Egypt's forgotten past. The truth of its origins, its purpose, and the hidden chambers beneath its pores remain locked away, as if the Sphinx itself holds the answers in silence, waiting for the moment when we are ready to listen. It is said that beneath the Sphinx, deep within the earth, there are hidden chambers, passages leading into the bowels of the pyramid, to secrets buried so far beneath the sands that they remain untouched, never to be revealed. Whispers tell us that these chambers were sealed long ago, their contents guarded by the Sphinx, as if it were not just a monument of stone, but a living sentinel, entrusted with the sacred knowledge of the ages. But what is hidden there? What truths lie beneath the weight of centuries, beneath the desert's endless embrace? The riddle of the Sphinx remains unanswered, its face worn and weathered, its secrets held in the silence of the desert. As we stand before it, the vast, empty sky stretching out above us, we feel the pull of something ancient, something vast. The Sphinx, though still, seems to hum with a presence that is both commanding and serene. It is as if the winds themselves, those ancient winds that have swept across this land since time immemorial, carry the whispers of a distant past. The air is thick with the weight of history, with the weight of a people long gone, their voices fading into the sands. But the Sphinx remains, its gaze unblinking, fixed upon the horizon, as if waiting for us to ask the right question, to seek the truth that lies hidden in the spaces between the stars. between the stones. The stones that make up the Sphinx's body, though weathered by the desert's unrelenting touch, are solid, enduring. They have withstood the test of time, the passage of countless centuries, the shifting sands that have erased so much from the earth's surface. The face, though battered and worn, still retains an aura of mystery, as if the very essence of the figure has been preserved in its silent expression. There is a quiet strength in the Sphinx's gaze, a strength that speaks of ancient wisdom, of knowledge passed down through generations, of a time when the stars were not distant lights in the sky, but guides, teachers, companions in the search for meaning. And so, we trace the Sphinx's gaze, following its line of sight across the desert, across the shifting sands, toward the distant horizon. The sky above, painted with the soft hues of twilight, seems to stretch on forever, as if it holds the answers to the questions we cannot quite grasp. The Sphinx's silent watch over the land feels eternal, as though it has always been here, standing in this same place, guarding the secrets of the earth, of the heavens, of the soul. What wisdom does the Sphinx guard? Some believe it holds the key to the past, to a lost civilization that once thrived in this land of mystery and myth. Others say it is a symbol of the divine, a reminder that there is more to the world than what we can see, that there are hidden truths that only the wise can uncover. The face of the Sphinx, with its half-smile, seems to suggest that the answers lie not in the pursuit of knowledge alone, but in the stillness, in the silence that surrounds us. Perhaps it is not meant to speak, but to be felt, to speak to the heart, to the soul, to the very essence of what it means to be human. As the sun sets behind the pyramids, casting long shadows across the sand, we are left with the quiet hum of the desert, the fading light of day turning to dusk. The Sphinx, in the deepening twilight, seems to merge with the landscape, its form blending with the earth, with the sky, with the stars. The desert's vastness becomes more apparent, stretching out before us like an endless sea, while the Sphinx stands in the center, timeless, unwavering, a symbol of endurance, of mystery, of secrets kept in the silence of the earth. Perhaps the Sphinx's purpose was never meant to be fully understood. Perhaps it is not a riddle to be solved, but a question to be pondered, a mystery to be held, to be lived. Its silence speaks to us in ways that words cannot, its gaze reaching across the millennia, inviting us to look deeper, to seek more than just the answers we think we know. The winds of the desert, the sands that shift and change with the passage of time, hold the echoes of those who have stood here before us, gazing upon the Sphinx, asking the same questions, seeking the same answers. And so, as the stars begin to twinkle overhead, casting their pale light upon the ancient stone, we are left with the haunting sense that the Sphinx's secrets may never be revealed. Perhaps it was never meant to speak, but to watch, to wait, to remind us of the mystery that lies just beyond our understanding. In the quiet, in the stillness, we find the truth of the Sphinx, not in its face, but in its silence, in its presence, in its eternal watch over the desert. The Sphinx stands not just as a monument of stone, but as a monument to time itself, to the mysteries that lie beyond the veil, to the truths that we may never fully understand. As the night deepens, and the desert is swallowed by the cool embrace of darkness, we are left with the soft rustling of the wind and the endless sky above, a sky that seems to stretch on forever, as infinite as the mysteries of the earth. The Sphinx, though it may never reveal its secrets, continues to watch, continues to stand as a silent witness to the passage of time, a reminder that some questions are meant to linger, unanswered, like the stars above, eternal, elusive, waiting to be discovered in the spaces between the shadows, between the sands. Perhaps it was never meant to be found. This mystery that the Sphinx guards, so quietly, so steadfastly. Perhaps the answers lie not in the riddle, but in the silence that surrounds it. Some voices, it seems, only echo when we are ready to listen, when we are ready to embrace the mystery, to find our place beneath the stars and the stones, beneath the gaze of the Sphinx. And in that silence, in that waiting, we may find the answers we have been seeking all along. Deep within the verdant heart of Guatemala, where the jungle weaves its ancient spell and the air is thick with the pulse of 1,000 forgotten whispers. There stands a city silent, ancient, veiled in mystery. The great temples of Tikal rise from the dense canopy like sentinels, their towering spires piercing the sky, reaching upward as though they still seek the heavens. The wind stirs the leaves in soft murmurs, carrying with it the breath of a civilization long past. Here, amidst the dense green of the jungle, the ghosts of the Maya linger in the stillness, their presence felt in every stone, in every step we take. It is said that the Maya, in their great wisdom, built their temples not only to honor the gods but to bridge the space between the earth and the celestial. Their cities, like Tikal, were designed to mirror the cosmos, the temples aligning with the stars and the sacred paths of the gods. Yet, for all the monuments they left behind, temples etched with symbols of divine power, palaces carved with the story of their kings, there are secrets still hidden, buried deep within the roots of the jungle, beneath the weight of centuries. Some of these secrets may never be revealed, for they are buried not only in the soil but in the silence itself, in the forgotten corners of the earth where only the winds dare to speak. As we walk through the jungle, the path narrowing beneath our feet, we are surrounded by the thick, humid air, the scent of wet earth and ancient trees filling our senses. The jungle seems alive, yet it feels as though it is holding its breath, as though it has been waiting for us, for anyone to return, to seek, to uncover what remains of a long-lost world. The soft rustle of the leaves, the distant calls of unseen birds, the creaking of branches overhead all blend into a symphony of quiet reverence. There is no haste here. There is only the sound of time unfolding, slowly, gently, as though the jungle itself is in no rush to reveal its secrets. Ahead, the first of the temples emerges from the dense foliage, its weathered stones rising like the remnants of a forgotten dream. These stones, worn smooth by the touch of time, carry with them the symbols of a people who looked not only to the earth for guidance, but to the stars. The carvings on the stone are faded, but their meaning lingers, like an echo from another time. Here, the gods were not distant, but close, their presence woven into the very fabric of life. Every stone, every symbol, was placed with intention, with a deep understanding of the rhythms of the heavens. And yet, as we stand before the temple, we realize that we may never fully comprehend the meaning behind these symbols, behind the sacred geometry that once linked the earth to the stars. The temples of Tikal were not just buildings, they were sacred spaces, where the gods were called upon, and where the rulers of the city could commune with the divine. It is said that the Maya built their city with the cosmos in mind, aligning their temples to mirror the movement of the stars, marking the sacred moments when the gods would descend from the heavens and walk among men. These were places of great power, where the veil between the earthly and the divine was thin, where the breath of the gods could be felt in the wind, in the shifting light of the sun, in the darkness of the night. And yet, some of these gods are distant now, their voices carried only by the wind that whispers through the ruins, by the rustle of the jungle leaves, by the songs of the birds that once guided the priests of Tikal. The gods of Tikal remain silent, hidden in the shadows of the jungle, their stories lost to time, their presence felt only in the quiet echo of their once great city. Perhaps some gods are meant to be forgotten, their names lost in the folds of time, their temples abandoned to the earth. Or perhaps, as the moonlight filters through the trees, they are waiting for the moment when we are ready to listen, to hear the whispers of their ancient voices, carried on the wind that stirs the leaves. As the sun sets behind the jungle, casting long shadows across the temple steps, we feel the weight of the centuries pressing in, the sense that we are standing at the threshold of something ancient, something profound. The moon rises, its light soft and ethereal, bathing the stones of the temple in a gentle glow. The jungle, too, begins to shift, the creatures of the night stirring in the underbrush, the sounds of the day fading into the cool embrace of evening. In the stillness, we sense the presence of those who once walked these same paths, the priests, the rulers, the people of Tikal, each one leaving behind a trace, a memory, a fragment of the divine that once filled this place. The silence grows deeper, more profound. As we stand beneath the towering stone temples, the wind stills, and the moon, now high in the sky, marks the sacred passage of time. The ruins, though crumbled, still hold a resonance, a quiet power that seems to pulse through the very air. The temples are not just remnants of a lost civilization, they are vessels of memory, of wisdom, of a connection that has yet to be fully understood. In the heart of the jungle, where the roots of ancient trees reach deep into the earth, the spirit of Tikal lingers, waiting to be rediscovered, waiting to reveal what was once known to those who walked these sacred grounds. Perhaps the answers we seek are not hidden beneath the earth, not locked in the stones of the temples or the forgotten chambers. Perhaps they lie within us, within the quiet spaces between breaths, between thoughts, where the pulse of the earth and the rhythm of the stars are felt most clearly. The gods of Tikal may never reveal their secrets in the way we wish. Their voices may remain distant, their stories carried only by the wind. But in this silence, in this sacred stillness, we are reminded that some truths are meant to be felt, not spoken. Some wisdom is found not in the words of the past, but in the quiet resonance of the present, in the soft whisper of time as it stretches endlessly through the jungle, through the stars, through the heart of the earth. As we stand before the temple, the jungle now fully embraced by the night, we are left with the haunting sense that some mysteries are not meant to be solved, but to be experienced. The gods of Tikal, though distant, continue to watch, their presence felt in every rustle of the leaves, in every step we take. Perhaps it was never meant to be found, this truth, this wisdom, this divine connection. Perhaps the true gift of Tikal is not in the answers it offers, but in the questions it leaves behind, the invitation to listen, to wait, and to feel the pulse of something ancient and eternal. And so, as we leave the temple behind, the jungle settling into its quiet rhythm once more, we carry with us the echo of Tikal, the whispers of the gods, and the realization that some stories are meant to be held, not told, and that some mysteries, like the stars themselves, will continue to shine just beyond our reach.